SUVs love to wear that reliable badge on the window sticker, but once owners start stacking real miles and real repair bills, some of them fall apart way faster than anyone expected. Consumer Reports just dropped fresh reliability data, and a few popular SUVs got exposed hard. This is Scott from CarLandTV, and today we're breaking down the exact 7 SUVs Consumer Reports says are the least reliable once the warranty honeymoon is over and real ownership kicks in. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now let's get back into it. Ford Escape Hybrid. The Ford Escape Hybrid landing on this list catches a lot of people off guard because, on paper, it checks the right boxes. Solid fuel economy in the low 40 seconds in the city, a proven Atkinson cycle 2.5-liter engine, and a hybrid setup that looks very similar to what Toyota has been running for years. That's why buyers jump in thinking they're getting long-term peace of mind with a little gas savings on top. What drags this thing down in Consumer Reports data is not the engine itself. It's the supporting systems. Owners reported above-average issues with electrical hardware, hybrid control modules, and infotainment crashes. We're talking warning lights popping up for no clear reason, software updates that don't stick, and screens that randomly reboot or freeze. Consumer Reports specifically flagged the Escape Hybrid for problems in the electronics and climate control categories, which are weighted heavily in reliability scoring. Transmission behavior also shows up in owner complaints, even though this thing uses an eCVT. The issue is not catastrophic failure but hesitation, rough engagement at low speeds, and inconsistent power delivery during stop-and-go driving. That kind of stuff does not strand you, but it gets old fast when it happens every day. Repair frequency also trends higher than average for compact SUVs once mileage climbs past the early ownership phase. That context matters because it sets the tone for this list. A lot of these SUVs fail not because of one massive flaw, but because modern systems stack complexity on top of otherwise decent hardware, and owners end up dealing with the fallout long after the showroom shine wears off. Volkswagen Taos. The Volkswagen Taos is the kind of SUV people buy because it looks clean, feels European, and is sized just right for city life. I get the appeal. It's a subcompact footprint, decent cargo for the class, and that little 1.5 turbo TSI is supposed to be the efficient but still peppy move. But in the real world, the Taos has been catching too many reliability dings for stuff that should not be happening on a daily driver. And yeah, that's a problem. The most technical, most repeated headache is the 1.5 tons cooling and sealing drama. Volkswagen put out a service bulletin covering head gasket leakage on certain 1.5 tons engines, where owners are seeing low coolant warnings and coolant loss that leads to repairs. That's not an oil change annoyance. That's the kind of job that can turn into downtime, dealer visits, and a "how is this normal" moment real quick. When a modern turbo motor starts losing coolant, you're risking overheating, misfires, and long-term wear if it goes unchecked. Then you've got the drivetrain and control side. Depending on trim and year, the Taos uses either an 8-speed automatic or a 7-speed DSG dual clutch with all-wheel drive, and a lot of complaints center on low-speed behavior. Hesitation, weird shift feel, occasional jerky engagement in stop-and-go. Pair that with infotainment glitches and touch control annoyances, and it's easy to see how owner surveys hammer it for electronics and drivability stuff. And that's the theme that keeps showing up with these low-scoring SUVs. The hardware can be fine, but the modern systems stacked on top are what start draining your patience and your time. Mercedes-Benz GLE. Luxury buyers step into the Mercedes-Benz GLE expecting the headaches to be gone because the price tag is doing the heavy lifting. From my seat, that assumption does not line up with what owners have been reporting to Consumer Reports. The GLE's reliability score gets dragged down by issues tied directly to its advanced electronics and chassis systems, not basic wear items. That matters because those systems are always active, not optional features you can ignore. One of the biggest contributors is the 48-volt mild hybrid system paired with many GLE powertrains. The integrated starter generator handles torque assist, electrical load management, and smooth restarts. When that system misbehaves, drivers see warning lights, disabled features, and reduced drivability. Mercedes has issued recalls and service campaigns tied to 48-volt wiring and software calibration on certain GLE model years, which lines up with Consumer Reports flagging powertrain electronics as a trouble spot. Ride comfort is another double-edged sword. The available airmatic suspension uses air springs, ride height sensors, control valves, and compressors to deliver that smooth glide. Owners love how it drives when it works. The downside shows up later, when sensor faults or air leaks trigger suspension warnings or uneven ride height. Those repairs are not quick fixes, and they are rarely cheap once warranty coverage thins out. What makes the GLE frustrating is that the mechanical foundation feels solid behind the wheel. The reliability penalties come from layered technology that demands perfect communication between modules. That same complexity shows up even more aggressively as SUVs get larger and more feature-packed, which becomes impossible to ignore moving forward. Jeep Grand Cherokee L. The Jeep Grand Cherokee L is one of those SUVs people buy because they trust the name and want space without jumping to a full-size rig. I understand the logic. Rear-wheel drive-based platform, available V6, decent towing numbers, and a third row that actually fits humans. But once owners start living with it, the reliability story turns messy fast, and Consumer Reports data reflects that loud and clear. A big chunk of complaints centers on electrical stability. Owners report repeated warning messages, random system resets, and features going offline without warning. Uconnect screens freezing, backup cameras failing to load, and driver assist systems throwing faults. This stuff is not rare or isolated. Consumer Reports flagged electronics and in-car tech as major problem areas, and that lines up with multiple recalls tied to software updates and module communication errors. Transmission behavior also drags the score down. The Grand Cherokee L uses the ZF 8-speed automatic, which is usually solid, but calibration issues show up here. People report rough shifts at low speeds, hesitation pulling away from a stop, and inconsistent throttle response. That kind of behavior does not mean instant failure, but it kills confidence, especially in traffic or when merging with a loaded vehicle. Then there's build quality. Interior trim issues, misaligned panels, and premature wear show up more often than they should in this price range. None of these alone is catastrophic, but stacked together, they explain why repair frequency trends are higher than average in owner surveys. That combination of space, tech, and unresolved bugs becomes a pattern once vehicles start adding even more complexity and electrification into the mix. Rivian R1S. Rivian's R1S looks like the perfect modern family rig on paper, and I've got no issue admitting it. Big range claims depending on pack and wheels, legit off-road hardware, and that quad-motor setup on certain trims can move like a rocket. But Consumer Reports owner data has been rough on the R1S for reliability, and the reasons aren't mysterious once you look at what early owners keep reporting. A lot of the pain lives in software and electronics. Rivian runs the vehicle through centralized computers, so when a bug hits, it can show up as camera failures, driver assist dropouts, random warning messages, or features that stop responding until a reset or an over-the-air update. OTA updates are cool, but if you're the one doing the troubleshooting in your driveway because the UI froze, that novelty wears off quickly. Then you've got the EV-specific hardware stack. The high-voltage system, thermal management, and charging handshake all have to play nice. Owners have reported charging interruptions, charge port quirks, and HVAC weirdness, especially in extreme heat or cold, where the battery conditioning and cabin heating load spikes. Add air suspension into the mix, plus ride height sensors and control valves, and you're now depending on a lot of modules to agree with each other every single time you drive. Build consistency is the other big piece. Panel alignment, wind noise, water leaks, interior trim, squeaks, and rattles. None of that is the motor exploded, but it's exactly what drives reliability scores down because it turns into repeat visits and repeat fixes. And once you pivot from an EV startup dealing with growing pains to a mainstream gas SUV with older school mechanicals, the failure pattern changes, but the owner's frustration can stay the same. Chevrolet Blazer. Chevy built the Blazer to be a slick, on-road midsize SUV, and I get why people bite. The cabin layout is simple, the driving position feels natural, and the powertrain menu looks straightforward on paper. Most trims are either the 2-turbo paired to GM's 9-speed automatic, or the 3.6 paired to the 9T65 9-speed. That sounds like normal, proven hardware, so buyers expect normal, proven ownership. Where the Blazer gets dinged in reliability is the stuff that turns into repeat dealer visits. GM has had NHTSA recalls on certain Blazer model years tied to driveline issues like a half-shaft retaining ring problem, plus a separate transmission build issue involving an incorrect sun gear on some 9-speed units that could lead to loss of propulsion or loss of mechanical park. That is not an oil seep. That is a safety-level defect, and even if your exact VIN is not affected, it shows the kind of quality control pressure points this platform has had. Even outside recalls, owner complaints keep circling the same technical themes: 9-speed calibration and consistency. People report delayed engagement when pulling out, weird shift feel at low speeds, and hunting between gears when you're cruising and the computer is chasing fuel economy. That's usually software and valve body behavior, but it still feels like the truck is second-guessing itself. Toss in infotainment glitches and driver assist warnings that pop up randomly, and yeah, that's how a midsize SUV ends up scoring poorly in reliability surveys. And once you take those electronics pain points and stack them on top of a plug-in hybrid system, the margin for error gets even thinner. Volvo X0 Recharge. Volvo sells the XC60 Recharge as the smart luxury move, and on the driving side, I get it. You're talking a plug-in setup with around mid-30 seconds miles of EV range, depending on trim and wheels. Then it runs as a regular hybrid after that, so daily commuting can be mostly electric if your routine is tight. But Consumer Reports has the XC60 plug-in hybrid graded below average for reliability, and the trouble spots they call out tend to be the exact areas that make a modern PHEV annoying to own. The biggest technical issue is complexity stacking. You've got a high-voltage battery, onboard charger, inverter, electric motor, turbo gas engine, plus a big thermal management system juggling battery temps and cabin HVAC. If any sensor or control module starts acting up, the car can throw warnings, disable features, or feel inconsistent on power delivery. Volvo has had a safety recall tied to high-voltage battery modules on certain 2020 to 2022 plug-in models, including the XC60, due to a risk of internal short circuit. Software is another repeat offender. Google-based infotainment can be slick, but owners report freezes, audio dropouts, and camera glitches, which is exactly the kind of stuff Consumer Reports reliability surveys punish because it shows up often and forces dealer time. Volvo does push frequent software updates, but needing updates to keep basic functions stable gets old fast. Then there's the serious side. NHTSA and Volvo issued an urgent warning on certain 2020 to 2026 Volvo EVs and plug-in hybrids, including the XC60, tied to a software defect where extended downhill regen mode use could contribute to loss of braking. That's why this model lands here, because even when the powertrain feels great, the systems around it can turn ownership into ops, back to the dealer again.